All right, guys. So Disney is laying off 1,000 people, and we knew that. We knew they were going to be laying people off, but it turns out that a lot of those people are from Marvel, both on the Hollywood side and in the comic book.
Oh, really?
Side. Yes. So this is actually a re-recording. We actually did a version earlier before the news broke that a lot of the layoffs were at Marvel. We thought it was just the marketing department.
Well, that's what they said. It was just going to be marketing. That's why I was like, and you know, they're doing studio and comics, which is really weird. But yeah, earlier the New York Post had this article about, the bloodbath and the brutal email. And the email was not brutal.
It wasn't.
We're not going to read the whole thing again. Actually, you got the Pirates and Princesses. It's out there.
Yeah.
But he was very polite. Basically, we appreciate all the work you've done. Sometimes we have to change direction for the company's sake. This is all restructuring and stuff under Iger before he left. But it was very polite email, actually. It wasn't.
Yeah,
brutal.
it was.
It wasn't mean. It was very polite.
Yeah, so we actually went through that before. Yeah, it does suck for people. We went through that before, and we were kind of talking about, how you have to be the bad guy sometimes at companies, right? You do. That's just, it goes with territory. But anyway, since we did the original version that is now not going to get posted at all, the news has come out that Marvel has seen a lot of layoffs, and that surprised me.
Yeah, that was not expecting. Like, especially when it's because they were talking like a lot of it was dealing with the marketing restructuring. So it's supposed to be marketing departments. We're supposed to be most of the issues, redundancies. But they're using this opportunity to get rid of people in Marvel, which I was like, I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, so I read through the article and who they're getting rid of. Well, on the studio side, they said that 8 to 10%, I guess, of their staff total. What they're going to do is outsource outside of LA probably, and 2 are using AI, which is also cheaper.
Well, that's faster too. If you can outsource a bunch of different places instead of just doing it all in house, you can get a lot more done quickly.
So let's go out to deadline. Marvel undergoes layoffs amid company-wide Disney cuts. Marvel
cut more on the comics end.
Well, I was surprised the comics are getting cut too. And we'll talk about that. I had a whole nother thought process about where Marvel Comics is right now. And of course, we've got Rich Johnston out there trying to be like, well, it has nothing to do with woke or stale. It just happens. I'm like, no, I think the day of reckoning is coming pretty soon for Marvel as a comics publisher, because they don't make sense in the Disney.
Well, that's why I'm surprised they didn't take more out of the comics than I'm surprised. Anyway,
just wait. Anyway, they said Marvel has been impacted by today's Disney layoffs. Again, this is coming from Deadline. I had to go see what the header was, because they're all the same. Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter. Affected by the staff reductions are both the offices of Marvel Entertainment in New York, that'd be the comics, and Marvel Studios in Burbank. About 8% of the workforce has been let go. There are layoffs in most departments, including film and TV production, comics, franchise, finance, legal, as well as visual. The cuts in the visual development area are said to be significant, with Marvel Studios retaining a small team to oversee the hiring of artists on a project-by-project basis who will be outside contractors going forward.
But it's interesting because you look over here, number 3 on the side, they were saying it was going to be marketing. This is not marketing.
This is why we are re-recording the video, because originally it was just like marketing people, and we had anecdotes about, it's like being around Disney marketing people. Have got years of experience doing that. But we're like, okay, marketing's not a big deal. But Marvel, no offense to people who got laid off in marketing, but Marvel, that's a big deal, because that says that, to me, that they don't have a lot of confidence, I don't think, in the future of Marvel going forward. Is Doomsday going to be a piece of shit, or what's going on here? Now, as of the recording of this video, when the news dropped, it was the end of business in California. So people might have just gotten the very end of the day, gotten their email that, hey, put your shit in the Mickey box, you're done.
Sounds like it, because as of when we recorded the video much earlier today, everybody was saying across the board, and they still say it's majority of us going to be in marketing.
Yes,
but it's not. I mean, it is maybe probably more marketing, but they didn't. I wasn't expecting this.
So we'll talk about this. Bleeding Cool. Of course, Rich Johnston's weighing in. He makes sure he gets in here. Wait, hold on. Right here. It's worth noting that these cuts are not related to Marvel Comics performance at all.
Bullshit.
It's entirely a Disney streamlining move. The usual suspects will start talking about market share, DC's absolute line, or woke. But that's not what this is. It's entirely part of the wider Disney initiative.
Well, that is what Damara said. Damara said that they were just like, it's basically about reinvesting money. So it's getting rid of some people and using that money to do other things that the company wants to do. And most of that is AI, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're looking at, while they're getting rid of these people, they're actually looking to hire people to develop AI programs for Imagineering and things like that. So I think it's called, he said, oh, the company's not in any trouble or anything like that. We're just doing this for the, because we want to redirect, honest, and it's not your fault. But the company's fine. Record profits is what this is about.
Yeah. So here, let me tell you a little anecdote. I've told this story a couple of times before. Having worked on Disney comics and around Disney for a number of years, we get to meet people, get to know people. I had a contact at Disney Worldwide Publishing back in 2016, 2017, who told me that long-term Disney was looking to outsource Marvel Comics because it doesn't make sense for those of you who read Disney comics or know how the Disney comics ecosystem works. They outsource all of their comics to different licensees, right? Marvel was an anomaly because they bought a comic book publisher. Really, all they cared about were the movie rights. They didn't care about the comic books. So they're like, well, we'll just, as long as the movies are making money, we'll leave them alone. Well, here we are in 2026. Diamond has cratered, went bankrupt. So there is no really good infrastructure as far as getting the comics to the shops like there was where Diamond was one stop, and now we're dealing with Penguin Random House and Lunar and I don't know how many damn distributors there are selling floppy comics to a shrinking number of middle-aged men, frankly. And it doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. Marvel especially is not doing well. Their comics are not doing well. DC is completely destroying them, but even that is just a handful of books that's completely destroying Marvel. And from a business perspective, it does not make sense to bankroll an entire office in New York full of expensive employees, whatever, to put out comics for a shrinking number of people.
They've canceled more successful things for less, but
yes,
I think it's funny. I should just change this. The usual suspects will start talking about how this isn't about comics doing poorly, and it's about things that Disney's just trying to streamline some money. I'm just going to change what you said because that's what it is. Comics don't do shit. I'm sorry, Rich.
No, they don't.
And the usual suspects. Yeah, the usual suspects, like you were saying, the opposite too. Look. Do I think that, Disney is tight for 1,000 layoffs for no reason other than, the marketing shifted, but we're laying off stuff outside of marketing? When you said marketing earlier, tells me that they're using this opportunity to get rid of things that don't work.
Yes.
And Iger put it in play before he left.
Yeah. And streamlining, that's what that means. I don't, I'm sitting here do you not understand business? When you streamline, you look for things that you can cut. So, the ship still runs, but you don't need as many people on the ship, right? And if you're cutting Marvel and you're cutting 8 to 10% of Marvel, that means Marvel's not making money. It's not paying for itself, or you wouldn't be cutting people at Marvel, right?
Yeah, you're like in a balloon and you want it to go higher. You have to get rid of some of the weight in the basket to go up. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there is going to come a day, and I've been saying it now for a few years, and I think it's going to come sooner rather than later, especially with Diamond, the whole Diamond situation, that it does not make sense for Disney to own a comic book publisher when they outsource literally everything else, including stuff like video games that makes a lot more money than comic books. It's, Marvel Comics, the publisher, is a vestigial organ that they basically just got when they bought the movies, right? So what'll probably happen is eventually Marvel Comics will just be an office full of brand managers that'll work with a bunch of, licensees or whatever to put out books with, Spider-Man and the X-Men or whatever in it.
Well, so they're doing that with VFX too. They're just going to send it to other places, and then they could, send to different companies and get stuff done faster. But I see they said that I was told to contact a new individual at Marvel Studios, new to them, for press matters, which means that their other press person's gone.
Free shit.
And they told me that today's impacts affect Marvel employees in both Burbank and New York across most areas of the company as a whole, film and TV production, comics franchise, finance, legal, and more. But they said it was supposed to be marketing, but okay. Moreover, they are the result of the overall reduction in Marvel's film and TV output. Well, why would you reduce it if it was doing gangbusters?
Yeah, I think we're going to see the exact same thing happen as soon as the ink is dry on the Paramount Warner Brothers deal. I think we're going to see cutbacks at DC.
Oh yeah, that one of course, because you're gonna have a lot of redundancies. But this one here, they did have some merging stuff going on with marketing. So I'm confused as to why it's hitting Marvel so hard. But they said further efficiencies from the integration of Marvel Entertainment into Marvel Studios and a focus on overall operational efficiency and cost management. You're not gonna get rid of stuff that makes you money.
Nope.
You're not gonna get rid of people who bring you money.
Nope.
You know, the departments that aren't getting cut much are the ones that they're banking on. If your department's getting gutted, that means that they either have replacements in mind for you, they're going to go AI, or they think you're not worth it because you're too expensive and it's not bringing the boom.
Yeah, I think they're looking at the long-term future of Marvel as a brand too, and I think they know that it's definitely in decline. I'm sorry,
Surprised they
it is.
haven't gutted Lucasfilm yet.
Yeah, well, I think they're giving them a couple more chances yet, but yeah, I mean, it's Marvel's. Marvel's just. I mean, Doomsday will probably do okay, but I mean, look, even like Daredevil, people aren't excited about it. It's not even that they think it sucks or they think it's woke or whatever. Just people aren't excited.
They thought it was. They definitely were pushing a certain agendas, from my understanding, but
Spider-Man, people care about, but people look, Spider-Man,
that's
Batman
Sony now.
Yeah, that's mostly Sony. And here's the thing, like Spider-Man and Batman are bigger than, I guess, their respective comic book publishers. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you could get rid of all of the MCU and just make Spider-Man movies and it'd be fine. That's why Spider-Man was the first one to go with the license rights, you know, and they had to work out a deal to be able to use him in the MCU because he's hands down the most valuable character they have. So, you know, technically you could burn down Marvel and DC Comics as long as you got Batman. I mean, Batman is single-handedly propping up the comic book industry right now. Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, you don't need the rest of it. And I think they're going to look at that and be like, where's all the money? Well, Batman? Yeah, we'll just do Batman. We don't need all this other stuff.
I'm interested to see what else goes because, you know, 8% of Marvel is quite a bit. And you have 1,000 layoffs and 8% of it's Marvel. And and the majority is supposed to be in marketing. So either either Marvel didn't have much staff to begin with across all their departments, just does not make sense.
That does make sense.
Or it's going to be more than 1,000 people, and they're not saying.
I think it's going to be more than 1,000 people. I think they were trying to mitigate the damage, and I think that they're burying the FX thing in with, it's mostly marketing people. Yeah, honest. It's like, no. That's a big one because they unionized, and you're getting rid of them all and using freelancers.
Right, because they probably run into it like you'd have to fight the union to get rid of some, but if you get rid of everyone, it's like, oh, you're all gone. Yeah, that is big. Because that was like when you said that, I was like, but they just unionized not that long ago.
Yeah. Geeky's like, we gotta record another video. This is like this is a very different story from the story we were told this morning. So
now, in regard to his letter, it was a very nice letter, but I don't think the way it was worded. It did say across different department type things, but not like it was worded more like it was going to be marketing. Yeah,
they're like, they need to manage our resources. He said that he appreciated everybody. Compassion and respect remain at the heart of our company as we move forward through this transition. Our priorities to support those impacted.
Yeah, he wasn't mean about it, but like I'm trying to look like where they said what they were cutting, and they said there are different departments they were cutting, and it sounded. Go back up to the top. I think it's more in there. Across our industries, yes. They said that they were going to look for ways to streamline operations. And then they said, go down and see. I forget where it was at on here because this was this morning.
I don't think he said specifically marketing. He said just streamlining.
No, other people said it was going to be departments that was said, but I don't know if it was mentioned what the departments were.
He didn't mention it. They mentioned it in other articles. They were under the impression it was mostly marketing and PR people.
Well, that's the way it sounded because they said it because Disney it was worded. It was because of the marketing restructuring that happened in January.
Yeah,
where the guy's the brand manager because they said it was going to be market. It was mostly going to impact marketing and brands.
Yes,
and
brands would be Marvel. So
well, I guess but they said it was the way it was positioned was. they did a redo of the marketing in January. Then they're trying to get redundancies and rid of redundancies now. But the whole VFX team doesn't sound like a marketing redundancy.
No, it does not. I think there's a lot more to come. I think this is just kind of, again, Damaro's only been there for a little bit, and they are definitely having to change things up at Disney. And I think they're looking at what makes money and what doesn't. I'm sorry, you don't get rid of people that are bringing revenue to your company.
Yeah, 10 years ago, if you said they were going to gut Marvel, I'd have been like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the VFX side. The comic side, not surprised.
No,
I was expecting more of the comics to be gone.
I 100% believe that they're going to outsource all the comics before it's all. I don't see, like, I'm looking at this from a business owner's point of view, and I'm like, wait a second, I can have another company that's probably more competent and not going to spend all day on Twitter or Blue Sky attacking people. I can have them draw better comics, make better comics than we're making here, and they pay us, and we don't have to do anything, and we don't have to have a bunch of people on salary and rent that expensive New York office. Yeah, there's literally no downside.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's, yeah.
I'm just interested to see who else goes next. If it's going to hit brands, what else is going to get the axe, you know? Because they said it was starting today, but I don't think it was all going to be done today.
No. So I'm guessing what happened was end of business. Somebody from Marvel's like, hey, I just got shit canned.
Yeah, and then like everybody's looking into it. So,
yeah.
I mean, well, apparently the contact at Marvel's not there because they had to give them a new contact.
So here's Blue Sky. And here's what they said, Culture Crave said, Marvel Studios was reportedly hit hard by the Disney layoffs. Nearly the entire visual department team was let go, many there for over a decade.
Sucks.
Only a skeleton crew remains in place to coordinate hiring on a per project basis. Overall, they're laying off 1,000 employees. So
it's going to probably more than 1,000 if they took 8% of Marvel and they still have a bunch of other places to hit.
You honestly think if they're doing this with the visual effects artists that make the movies, and the movies are what make most of the money for Marvel, you really think they're going to keep publishing comic books forever? They're outsourcing all this.
I'm surprised they aren't announcing they aren't, honestly.
Wow, just wait. Zoe Tunnel says, God, nothing but support for everyone affected by the Marvel layoffs. Absolutely horrifying. I hope everyone I know and folks in general over there are okay. Grim news from the Mouse House, says Rob Solkowitz. Sasquatch says the mass layoffs at Disney Marvel make no sense. Yeah, they do. These are multi-billion-dollar companies. Exactly.
They made the wrong kinds of, they've been backing the wrong kinds of things, and they've gone down the wrong flow of cash. It's gone the wrong way they don't want it to go.
Yeah, they can afford to keep each of those employees. Why?
Yeah.
Okay. God, so much I could say on that. I'm not even going to say it. Like, look, they're a for-profit company. They gotta get rid of some dead weight. Marvel's dead weight. Let's be real, right?
It's been.
Yeah, it's been. But this has nothing to do with woke. Does not directly, but I think people checking out of the brand over the course of the last, several years, yeah, definitely has something to do with that. Just saying. We gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you real quick. I did see a comment from somebody that was, working at Marvel about the situation.
Okay.
And all they had to say about it in a very angry way was, "I am Groot."
Oh my God, we are all Groot right now.
I am Boot. I
am Boot. Yeah, that's about what you are. You're boot to the face, right? Disney makes so much from Marvel while underpaying their workers. These people, they think it's a charity. I'm sorry.
They all do. They think
they all think
like
it's charity.
Socialist Central.
Oh my God, you're in for a rude awakening, very much so. Are we gonna wrap it up?
Yes.
All right. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.